Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today I'm going to get to try a puzzle I really hoped would make the grade when we sent it to our testers. It's actually been recommended as well by Grockles, the wonderful constructor who many of you will be familiar with. And this puzzle's called Wirral, and it's by Hraf. H-R-A-F is the name of the constructor. The reason it's relevant with me is that I used to live not so far from the Wirral Peninsula, up near Liverpool, and of course, many of you know this already, I am actually a Liverpool fan, so it's a part of the world I do know relatively well. And just to show you how cool this puzzle is, look, this is Google Maps. So this is the Wirral Peninsula. You can see the Mersey River, the Dee here, and it actually, it really does bear quite a resemblance to what Hraf has constructed in the grid. It's just a beautiful idea. It really is. I love it when constructors sort of marry up strange things and bring them in to the wonderful world of Sudoku. Now, Hraf said if this puzzle did get selected for the channel, he would like us to read out the dedication, and I'm very happy to do that. It's extremely, well, I'll read it to you. This puzzle is dedicated to my grandparents who are from Liverpool, my grandfather who passed earlier this year, but especially to my grandmother who taught me from a young age to love puzzles and encouraged my curiosity in the world. And I think I speak for all of us when I say that we could all do with people like that in our lives. Absolutely wonderful stuff. Now, I'll read you the rules of this in just a moment. Before I do that, there were a couple of things I wanted to mention. I'm really sorry, but Mark's voice is still, or his sore throat is still definitely not better. I spoke to him on the phone this morning, and he was coughing a lot. So I don't think we're going to be able to do Bubba Is You tomorrow. Maybe Wednesday, but please, we need to take health seriously. So just bear with us on that one. And the other thing is to recommend, if you're a patron of the channel over on Patreon, do try this month's monthly reward, the Mexican Standoff. I know you'll enjoy it, and I hope I'm not letting you in on too many secrets by saying that if you are a patron come the middle of the month, you won't regret it, because we do have something quite extraordinary that we're hoping to release as a Christmas gift. I won't say any more about that, but yeah, it's exciting times. Now, let's get to Wirral, and I'll read you the rules. They are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. The blue areas represents the water surrounding the Wirral Peninsula. The green areas are land. On land, the digit in a cell represents the height of a skyscraper built in that cell. No skyscrapers can be built on water, so any digit can appear on water without affecting sightlines. Sightlines to a shorter building are blocked by taller buildings. If you're not familiar with skyscrapers rules, don't worry, I'll explain them in a minute. The cages represent places where photographs were taken by a photographer on a boat cruise. The small arrow in a cage represents the direction the photographer was facing, or photographer was facing. Additionally, the digit given in the cage represents the number of skyscrapers visible in the given direction. In places where multiple photographs were taken, all of the photographs will be clued in the same cage. The digit in the cell with a grey square is even. That's that one. Note, because no skyscrapers are built on water, no digits in those cells block sightline to any land which may be across the water from the photographer. I've got no clue what that bit of the instructions means, but let's work through this and check that we all understand. So let's look at this clue. This is telling us that a photograph was taken in the direction of the arrow, in this direction, and that the photographer could see 4 buildings in this direction. So let's imagine for a moment this digit was a 9. Then the puzzle's already broken, because the 9 is the tallest skyscraper, and anything that we put behind the 9... Oh, right, now I understand the last bit of the rules. Anything that we put behind the 9 wouldn't be seen. So we wouldn't see 4 skyscrapers, we'd see 1 skyscraper, and that would be wrong. So something like, I don't know, 1, 2, 5, 9 might be possible. But what I've just realised is that this last part of the rules is telling us that because no skyscrapers are built on water, yeah, if this was, I don't know, if this was a smaller digit and this was a 9, I think it's saying that this 9 is not seen by the photographer because it's built on water, so it doesn't count for the purposes of working out the buildings seen on the land in this direction. So this could be a 9, and then you could have like an 8 here, and now this would be broken again because it sees too many clues, so I'd have to, let's reverse the order. So now it works again. I see this building, which is the lowest building. I see a slightly higher building, a 2. I then see a 6, which is a much larger building. I don't see the 5 because it's hidden by the 6. I do see the 9 because it's no, I don't see the 9 because it's, although it's enormous, it's in the sea, so it's invisible. It's in the River Mersey. And then I do see the 8 finally, which hopefully will complete my 4 clue. So that's how I think these clues work. It's a fascinating idea. It's sort of, it is like floating skyscrapers with this even digit representing Birkenhead. Is this the Mersey Tunnel? Well, there are 2 tunnels now, the Kingsway and the Queensway. I don't know, but this Liverpool is over here. This is Birkenhead. That's Wallasey. And we're in a very, very pleasant part of the country indeed. And I hope some of you who are watching this video will live here, or at least know this area well, and will drop a comment into the chat. Now, all that said and done, do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And we shall get cracking by, how should we do this? We're probably going to be having to look for big skyscraper clues. I'm not very keen on this one because of the ability for it to run across the sea or across the Mersey. I've got a 5 here, but quite a lot of real estate down there. I was thinking this clue was pointing this way and I was about to get excited. In fact, it's pointing downwards. Yeah, and there are only 5 cells downwards, so we know a little bit about this string of digits. This must be an increasing sequence. And actually, I'm tempted to use the pen tool here, which is something I hardly ever use. 1 second, I'm just going to have to pause the video to make sure I can turn this on. Yes, I can. I was checking which version of the software I was in, but I can do it, and I can show you guys how to do it as well. You click the cogwheel, then you see Enable Pen Tool, click that, turn it on, and go back. And then what you should see on the right-hand side, the ability to click a new icon. And this should allow you to draw in the grid like this. You can draw lines. You can just, it's Sven, our software developer has made this. It's absolutely remarkable stuff, and it could be used for so many different types of puzzle, but we don't get to use it very often. But do try and support Sven if you can, especially by buying Sudoku Pad, which is of course the app that allows you to play your own puzzles in our software. It's fantastic. Now, this has allowed me to draw a line down here like a thermo, so I am going to make a thermo bulb in that cell with a purple. I'm going to use purple for a thermo bulb. So now, this is telling me that this is an increasing sequence. So if this was, I don't know, if that was a 2, we'd have to go 3, 4, 5, 6, something, or 7, something like that. We have to increase in order that the photographer facing this direction sees all 5 buildings, sees 5 buildings in that direction. So we don't know what's on this thermometer yet, but we do know it's an increasing sequence. And in fact, the sequence doesn't stop at the bottom, look, because of this 4 clue. So we've got to see 4 from this direction. Yeah, so this can't be a 9, because if it was a 9, this would only be a 3 clue. So the thermometer... no, I was about to say it turns right, but it doesn't necessarily. It turns right in a virtual way. One of those cells, at least, must be higher than this digit. But I don't know for sure whether it's this one, or both of them, or this one. So I don't think I can continue my thermo, which is a bit annoying. But we have pinpointed Birkenhead on the map, and that's good. And Birkenhead is in a very cold place, and actually this part of the world is quite cold in my experience, so that feels about right. I've got a 4 here, pointing at 4 cells of land. So that is another of these thermos. Let's put that in. Let's put the bulb into that square as a result. So this is an increasing sequence, but these clues don't look like they're terribly interesting. It's not actually easy to see how to start this. 3s and 2s looking 4 looking horizontally here. And a 2 looking back the other way. So, yeah, okay. That is quite interesting as well, isn't it? Because isn't this telling me the coordination of this 2 is saying this is not the highest digit in this string of digits. In fact, it must not be the highest digit. Which means the highest digit is to the left of this square, but it can't be in any of those 3 squares, or this 4 clue will break. So this is the highest digit. And this sequence must be increasing, so we get to draw another thermo. And that square becomes a thermo square as well. Okay. 4 vertically here. That's, yeah, okay, so this is a double-ended thermo, because that must also be a sequence. Like, oh, actually, hang on a moment, let me just think about this, because we've also got this clue. So that this digit here can't be a particularly low digit, but it also can't be a particularly high digit, because if it's, say, a 7, this clue's broken now. I can't see 3 skyscrapers in this direction. So the maximum value of this is 6, and the minimum value of this is 4. And it must be at least 4, because this must be, if this was 1, we must increase to a 4. And it can't be more than 6, or I can't make the 4 clue work. So in fact, we have a couple of degrees of freedom, but that's all along this line. Now, it would really be incredibly useful if we knew that this clue didn't see over the water to the Liverpool side of the Wirral Peninsula. I'm not sure if we can prove that or not. Let me just think about this. So, this square, how could we see this square from here? This square would have to be what would it have to be seen? Well, I could see 2 digits here. Oh no, I can't see 2 digits here because this is a 1 clue. Oh, that's strange. Okay, so I can only... So this, of these 2 digits, this is higher. And the maximum number of digits this clue can see in this direction, if it crosses the water and sees digits over here, is 1. So if this was as low as it can possibly be, this could be a 4, 5, 6. This needs to be at least 7, doesn't it? Because if it's any lower than 7, let me just check this, check I'm understanding this correctly. If it's lower than 7, and we make that 4, we can put a 5 in the middle of that string. But if this digit is seen, I now only see 3 skyscrapers in this direction as a maximum, and that's not right. But if I make this a 7, then I can put 4, 5, 6, for example, and I will see all 4 of those, and that will correct this clue. So this clue here needs to be a 7 or more if this sees it. Right, if that's a 7, that's an 8, and that's a 9. Ah, that's broken. Right, beautiful. God, that's not actually easy though. Right, if this is 7, 8, 9, this 2 clue comes into its own and puts a 9 here, and now that's impossible. You can't put 2 9s in one box for Sudoku. So this is not capable of being a 7, so it's a lower digit, and that means that this clue, coming right the way back here, gets all 4 of its skyscrapers in that string, and of course that allows me to extend my thermometer round this corner, which means that we can do some more advanced pencil marking. So this square here has 5, 6 or 7, 6, 7 or 8, 7, 8 or a 9, but that can't be a 9 because that's a 4 clue, and it can't be an 8. This is a 7. Oh, this is perfect. Right, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. I'm going to have a digit in the grid at last. Because, how could this be an 8? Well, it could be an 8, but now this 4 clue is impossible. We'll see 1, 2, and then we'll see the 9 in the column as a maximum. That's only 3 skyscrapers. So this must be 7, and by making this 7, we force everything to be minimised along the thermo. And finally, we don't just have 1 digit, we've got 7 digits in the grid. And now we know that, now we've got to be a bit careful with 8 and 9 in this column, because we know that the 8 must be seen. We'll see this digit for sure, we must see this digit, we're going to have to see an 8 which is higher, and then a 9 which is higher than that. So we can't put the 9 here and then the 8. We can't have the 8 at the bottom of the grid. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Now I've got a 5 clue here, starting with a 5. So this is right, this is important. In this column, all of the high digits must be seen. We must see in sequence a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8 and a 9. But we have unfortunately got 6 cells. So the 9 is oh, look, yeah, the 9's got to be down here, and it can't be here because of the 2 clue there. So if this was a 9, this clue would be a 1, and it's not, it's a 2 pointing this way. So that's wrong. That's therefore right. There's got to be a 6 in one of these, there's got to be a 7 in one of these, there's got to be an 8 in one of these. And, well, okay, this can't be the 8. Because this thermo won't work. If we put an 8 there, we'd go 9 and then a double-digit number. That's nonsense. So we've got to put the 8 here. So therefore, there's got to be a 9 in... Oh, look at these 2 clues now. We've got to put a 9 in this string because this needs to see 2 skyscrapers. So it sees 1, which is a huge 8. It's going to have to see a 9 poking its head out over the top of the 8. Where can that 9 be? Well, in theory, it's got 3 possible positions, except this is a 3 clue, so the first 2 cells are not possible. We've got to put the 9 here. Right, and now, while my phone buzzes at me, I'm now thinking about column 5 again, because I had to put a 9 in column 5 that was seen by this 4 clue, and that now can't live at the bottom of the grid. It can't be here, so it's in one of 2 places, which means that 8 is in one of 2 places in the column. This clue is now done. We've got a sort of thermo extending this way, which might be a bit confusing. Let me just see how the pen tool handles that. If I put that in, oh no, that works okay. Okay, so I can put another thermo bulb in here, although that's confusing that one a bit. Okay. Actually, I might have to delete this line. I think I'm going to get confused by it. Or can I just leave it in like this? Yeah, I think I can. Yeah, that's okay. I can just leave it like this. That's fine. 9 by Sudoku is in one of those cells. Sudoku. When doing Sudoku, I keep telling myself this in videos. I inveterately forget to do it. But look, in Sudoku puzzles, you tend to be able to do something called Sudoku. And here I can. 5, 8 and 9. That's a 5, 8, 9 triple. That means those squares are 4, 6 and 7. We know that one is not 7. We know this one is not 6. Don't actually see anything telling us the ordering of clues in the first column. There's certainly no photographers or no photographs were taken in either the north or the south direction. Okay, so let me think about this. Right, that is not a 7. I'm going to allege this, because if this is a 7, I've got to put an 8 into this line to make this 4 clue work, because I'll have to see the 7, the 8 and the 9, but the 8 seems to have to be up here in box 5, not in this row. So that's not a 7, that's a 4. That's a 6, that's a 7. What's that doing? It is doing... Is that affect? No, it's not affecting this. This clue in this direction sees 1. Yeah, it sees 1 skyscraper, so that can't be a 9, or it will be seen, and something before it will be seen, and that won't work. This is seeing 2 from this direction, which is almost certainly going to be this digit, which has to be a low digit, because it's on a big long thermo. But then it could see this, or can it see that? If that's a 9, I have a feeling this can't be a 9. How could that be a 9? The only way this 7 and something smaller than it is not seen is if this digit is high enough to hide the 7. It would have to be an 8, and that's on a 5-cell thermo, which is impossible. So I don't think that can be a 9. Sorry, I don't think this can be a 9 here. So I think the 9 moves down to there, and this becomes a 5-8 pair. Now that is useful actually, because that can't be a 9 now, which forces the 9 in here, forces the 8 in here. This clue now looks much more sensible, because this digit is basically anything. Okay, and how do we make more progress from there? We shall... I don't know. I don't even really have a good... Right, this... Maybe I've got to just go through all of the land digits and see what's under pressure. This is not... Oh! I don't think this... Well, in this direction, this is under almost no pressure. It's got to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. But the thing I'm just a bit confused about is I've got 2 clues the same, pointing there. So this digit cannot be the high. So if we think about these 3 digits together, this digit is not the highest of them, because that would break this clue. So this digit is therefore the highest of them. Is that right? Yes, because if this one was higher than that one, this would be a 1. So this clue, if this clue here is lower than this square, this would see 1, 2, 3. So that's not possible. So this square must be higher than this square, which in turn, but both of these are lower than this square. So the order of these digits, this is the lowest digit, that's the middle digit, and that's the high digit. Now I am not going to attempt to draw that in a thermo, because it would look rather strange. So that, hang on, that digit is 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, and it's greater than this digit. This square is greater than this square, so this square is a minimum of 3. 1, 2, 3. And this square is more than 3. So this square is now 4 or 5. This square can be 3 or 4 only, I think. That square is then totally flexible, because it just has to be anything bigger than that digit. But if that's 3 or 4, then this square is 2 or 3, and that square is 1 or 2. And that's quite interesting. Oh, especially with this clue. So this clue is a 1 clue. So this is the highest digit it sees. So that's got to be low again. We've almost got sort of a low thing going on in this row. Oh, I've got an 8 here, so that's an 8 by Sudoku. It's so weird the way my brain works. So literally I saw that instantly as I scanned like that, but I hadn't seen it when I was looking over here. Anyway, right, so now okay, so now this digit has effectively lost any pressure that it ever had on it. And what more can we do? What digits are now need consideration? That's the question. Perhaps, what have I learned from this excursion into the top right of the grid? Have I learned anything of use? Oh, okay, I have learnt something. This now being a 9-8 pair, I can ask where 9 and 8 go in row 3. They have to go in those 2 cells, I think. Which means this square in turn becomes a 1, 2 or a 3 to complete that row. Yeah, and in fact, oh look, in this column I've got 1s, 2s and 3s to place. So now I've got a 1, 2, 3 triple in box 1. I've got a 9, 8 pair in box 1. I've got a 6, 7 pair in box 1. These digits at the bottom here have to be 5, 6 or 7. Oh, and these digits are a bit less helpful. They're 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. But does this actually do anything is the question. I don't know, because the actual digits in the cages, you know, what you actually put in the cages doesn't really affect very much. So no, I'm not seeing how to do this. 9? No. Okay, so probably... Oh, here's... Right, what about this cell now? That cell's under pressure. Because of if this thermo is correct, I've got to go up to this digit and up again to this digit. So that's a 5, 6 pair. That's the only way that will work, because this square can't be a 7, 8 or a 9. Now, is that useful? Probably. I'm trying to see if I can do any simple Sudoku as a result of that, and I'm failing miserably to do it. Okay, so maybe I've got to get full Goodliff and pencil mark this thermo. So what are the options? This square is a 5-cell thermo. No, it's not, is it? It's at least a 6-cell thermo, because it has to turn around the corner at the bottom to something down here in order for this 4 clue to work. So this, I was about to start with by saying this can be a 5 or higher, but I don't think it can be a 5. In fact, it can't be a 5 for another reason. There's a 5 in the box already. I think that has to be 1, 3 or 4, because we need to keep this down to a maximum of 8. So this is 2, 3. It can't be 5 or 4. So is that just 2 or 3 then? That's somewhat surprising. If that's only 2 or 3... that forces this square to be a 1. There we go. There's a bit of easy logic. That's probably been available for a while, but I only just spotted it. So this square now has to be 4 at least, doesn't it? So it's 4, 5 or 6. Can't be more than 6 or this square's going to get too high. So that's 5, 6 or 7. That's 6, 7 or 8. I'm desperately looking across here to try and understand whether that means anything really helpful. This clue maybe. So this is also a virtual thermo. Yeah. Yes. Okay, that can't be a 6 because I can't make this square, and it can't be a 5. That's forced to be a 4 by the logic we've already got here. Now this square has to be 5. That square has to be 4. in order that this thermo works at all. This is really beautiful setting, isn't it? It's a quality puzzle, and somehow Hraf has actually built a quality puzzle around real geography, which is it's staggeringly clever. Now that 4 is a bit annoying because it doesn't actually resolve the bottom of this thermo at all. Oh, that 5 might though. So that now can't be a 6, so we're getting somewhere here. It's so close to resolving something in a useful way. This column needs 1s, 2s and 3s again. Yep, that's worth a bobbins. That's not doing anything. Oh, good grief. I know what I've missed. What's that square? That's even. Birkenhead. This is marking the Mersey Tunnel, actually. It's in the water. It's got to be even. It's not 8 or 6 or 4. It's 2. Oh, good grief, Simon. So that's a 3. That's a 1. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's not a total embarrassment. These two squares now are 4 and 7, so we get the central box done. These squares have now got to be 4 and 9. Don't think we know the order. These squares have got to be 3, 5 and 6. Again, we don't have a lot of info in these columns yet, do we? But hopefully we will get some more info. This is 2, 7 or 8. So this 3 clue is now correct. This column needs 1s, 2s, 3s and 8s in it. I'm so close to sort of all sorts of quadruples happening here. I can't actually, in fact, I will be a bit diligent here and actually pencil mark everything, just to see if I can see anything quickly. No, I'm still not seeing it. So what do we have to do here then? We've got to make sure... How can that be an 8? If that's an 8, this cell... Oh, you'd have to put 7 here. It would have to go 7, 6, 8 in order for this 3 clue to work. Or we've got this 2 clue to think about as well. Now this 2 clue is, and there could be a 9. Well, there can't be a 9 here because the 2 clue won't work, so that's not a 9. Oh, of course. Right, sorry. Remember the 4 clue? Well, that 4 clue can't have an 8 in its first cell, so that is 8. And now this 3 clue becomes tricky, because this square is going to be seen. I mean, if that's a 7, it's definitely seen, because this square cannot be higher than 7, so that must be 6. Doesn't resolve the thermo, though. So this square is just now... This now is 7 to force the 3 to work. 7, 8, 9. This square is 5. Here we go. And these squares are 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s to complete the row. The 7 removes itself from that cell by Sudoku. I still haven't figured out. What got me thinking about this, though, is that one of these cells must be bigger than this to make the 4 clue work. I mean, we can see that can't be a 1 and that can't be a 3. This, and this must be seen. Oh, no, hang on. What if it goes 7, 8, 9? Hang on, that might have been wrong. I'm wondering if this can go 7... No, it can't go 7, 8, 9. Because that's going to break the 2 clue. Yeah, okay. So, this cell goes up to this cell, which means from this direction, this cell is seen, this cell is not seen, so it can't go 7, 8, 9, so that logic over there was correct. We need to be able to, we need this to go small, slightly larger, slightly larger, slightly larger again, but in one of those two positions. Oh, no, no, in this position, because otherwise the 2 clue's broken. So this square is an 8 or a 9. Right, and that's useful in column 7. That forces this to be a 4, this to be a 9, this to be a 2 now. Now, what's that done? Oh no, come on, it must be finished now. This square's totally free. Oh no, I can't see how to do it. But it must be right on the cusp. Can we deduce the value of... I've almost filled in all of the land. So we've got to be close, haven't we? This is a 3, 5 or a 6. Oh, that square's not a 1. So I've got a 2, 3, 4 triple in this column, so that's not a 3. I've got a 1, 2, 3 triple here, I've just noticed, so that puts 4 in the corner, which doesn't deserve a song. Okay. 5, I've just noticed, has to find a home in one of these 2 cells. But I think this cell has lost all the pressure that was ever on it, to be honest. Oh, no, oh, 9 can't be there. I was about to ask where 9 went in the bottom row. Because it can't be here or here, the 9 goes there. That might be helpful. So that becomes an 8, that becomes a 9. No, still doesn't resolve this digit. Oh no! Come on! Give up! It still won't, will it? 8s are ruled out of those squares. Maybe this is what we'd be missing. Yeah, we've got 1s, 2s and 3s all over the place up here. So we need 5s and 8s. Yes. Okay, that's at least getting this digit. Finally. This becomes a 7. So that's a 6, that's a 7. Now we can see that these 2 squares have to be a 5-8 pair. Yes, I know that doesn't seem to be resolved. Oh, come on. What else is it? What else do we have to figure out here? What about... Maybe we can... This row needs 1s, 2s, 3s and 6s. Again, it doesn't look to me like it's really... like any of these are particularly restrained. I'm probably missing some very simple Sudoku though now. Where is the simple Sudoku we're missing? 1s, 3s, 5s and 6s. Or it's going to be a clue like this 2 that I've just forgot to bear in mind. Oh, the 4 there, look, that's giving me a 3 here. 3, 2 and 1 go in. It's here, look, here. These are now a 1, 2 pair, so that's become a 3. So that becomes a 2 and a 1 and a 3. Okay, well that's better. That's now a 1 by Sudoku. That, look, it's all bouncing backwards and forwards. It's gorgeous. Still not finished, but it's definitely gorgeous. It's more gorgeous than it was. Now 3 comes out of these. So we end up with very close to finishing this, but still not quite done. We got this 3. Ah, this 2 is doing some work, so that becomes a 4. This square here now has to be a 6. That fixes the 5 in the cell above it. Now we get left with a 3, 6 pair here, which I don't know if that's resolved or not. This 5 is doing some work though. 5, 8, 8, 7. Okay, and finally we should be left with a 9 at the top of the grid, which fixes the 9, the 8, the 8, the 5. 5 goes here by Sudoku, so this is a 6 or a 7, which still doesn't seem to be resolved. We're looking for, what are we looking for? 4s, 6s and 7s. The 4 must hide in the top corner. This is a 6 or a 7. But this should be done. Ah yes, 7 down at the bottom. So 6, 7, 6, 7, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and there we go. We've done the Wirral Peninsula. We've done it. What a beautiful puzzle. All I'll say, Hraf, is I think your grandparents would really have delighted in that. That is an absolutely gorgeous piece of work, frankly. The fact that you've thought to do it with the real geography is clever enough, but it's a very, very beautifully constructed puzzle. The idea of a boat trip and to use thermometers in the land areas is highly original, and it's a really interesting solve. There's quite a lot going on here. I mean, you have to sort of work out that this bends round here, that this clue doesn't see over there. There was some stuff going on around all of these cells as well, and you can gradually build these thermometers up and make the puzzle unique. So I enjoyed it mightily. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.